Warnings concerning sudden destruction of coastal cities. Humanity does not have effective tools to resist such catastrophes. Let's remember 65 million years ago, the asteroid strike that caused the dinosaur extinction. And that was an almost extinction level event. We have scars all over our Earth concerning asteroid and comet impacts, also on the Moon and on Mars. But what can we do about this? This threatens with sudden destruction coastal cities' numerous human casualties. As we know, most cities are on coasts and rivers and lakes. The international team of scientists from 20 countries identified 47 problems that hinder the successful prevention and elimination of the consequences of a tsunami based on carried out analysis. The world's leading experts on natural hazards outlined directions for further scientific research. The research group's review, published in special issues of Frontiers in Earth Science. Now, the main problems identified in the review relate to the large gaps and uncertainties in knowledge about such changes in the Earth, and of course, the inundation of the oceans, tidal waves and tsunamis, the lack of well-documented observations, the imperfect methods of processing available information, and one of the reasons is a lack of coordination of efforts of those countries for which the study and predictions of these forecasts are made, and the corresponding risks and preparation for repelling threats are vital. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. The authors of the research said, generally accepted approaches have not yet been determined. Potential incompatible probabilistic methods are used in different regions of the world, and different sources of tsunamis are often considered independent of each other. Maria Gricetchev, senior researcher at Extra Terra Consortium Laboratory at the Ural Federal University and at the Finnish Geospatial Research Center, adjunct professor in planetary sciences at University of Helsinki, says that the asteroid comet hazard is associated with the origin of tsunamis as well. As we know, science knows more than 1 million asteroids in the solar system, she says. In total, according to the estimates, more than 150 million asteroids exceeding 300 feet in size revolve around our sun. Since the ocean occupies more than 70% of our planet's surface, collisions of any of these celestial bodies in our planet may cause a strong tsunami, obviously. So let's recall the impact of the asteroid in the Gulf of Mexico 65 million years ago that led to the extinction of the large number of animal species, including the dinosaurs. The main terrestrial source of the origin of the tsunamis are abnormally strong, rapid fluctuations, as we would imagine, in the atmospheric pressure, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes on land and underwater as well, crustal movement and landslides. Often these factors are interconnected. But humanity does not have reliable historic and detailed modern data to take into account the interdependence of these factors. This leads to a difficulty to predict the time and place of each next tsunami. And also, due to the uncertainties, scientists studying the natural phenomena that cause these tsunamis often ignore the connection. Although tsunamis can be even more destructive and deadly, according to the authors of the review, this approach is typical, for example, for volcanologists. As a result, systematic analysis of information about tsunamis and volcano studies is often omitted, the authors of the review state, and in addition, the power of computer technology is used to predict tsunamis is insufficient to meet the challenges. The numerical models themselves are too complex and too costly. Due to a combination of reasons, many coastal cities, especially in developed countries, are not ready to receive the tsunami to adequately assess the possible damage and losses. This is reflected, for example, in the construction of buildings and structures, schools and hospitals, industrial enterprises, harbors, roads and bridges, power plants, including nuclear power plants, gas and oil storage facilities, and various communications are under the threat of destruction, and most importantly, so are the lives of many people. And the authors of the review said, buildings are often used as evacuation shelters. Tsunamis affect the lower floors of high-rise buildings, while seismic loads affect the upper ones. But tsunami effects such as basement erosion and debris impact are rarely modeled, and these effects remain to be in investigation. So there is no clear idea about the potential economic damage and costs required to combat tsunamis and their consequences, the quality of disaster risk management, who and what, from what harm, at what cost, and how to protect, often leaves much to be desired. In most cases, assistance arrives late, leaving affected communities in a vulnerable position, especially in the first hours and days after such events. So she says, we call for the creation and continuous enrichment of unified databases for the conduction of the necessary research and regular examination of information for improving the methods of analysis and modeling and careful planning of actions in case of cascading natural disasters. In other words, where one disaster brings others. Like we had in Japan, for example. We had an earthquake, and then that caused a tsunami, that caused the nuclear power plant radiation leaks. So she says, we are convinced that with proper funding, with the availability of the necessary scientific equipment and technology, it is quite possible to bridge the gaps in understanding the tsunami phenomenon that we have identified, she said. This is from SciTech Daily. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. And also they say 80% of cases, we have to note, tsunamis are caused by seismic disturbances. So basically they're earthquake tsunamis, as a result of which deformation, the rise and fall of the seabed occurs. And we had one in December 26, 2004 in the Indian Ocean. And on March 11, 2011, the Fukushima tsunami with the nuclear power plant destroyed in Japan. So this is very, very important research that has to be done. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.